This episode of Inside Louisiana Athletics is brought to you by Our Lady of Lourdes Medical Center. Hi, I'm Marcel Johnson. Tonight on Inside Louisiana Athletics, the stage is set for the Sun Belt Football Championship. But first, the Cajuns must face a familiar foe in the App State Mountaineers. The Cajuns showed why they are nationally ranked with a 70-point explosion in Monroe as our Darren Walker sits down with head football coach Billy Napier to look ahead to a showdown in Boone, North Carolina. Brought to you by Sonic. Gary Broadhead is here to talk about the upcoming season opener against North Texas. And later, Bob Marlin is here to discuss their trip to Vegas and their first test of the season against the nationally ranked Baylor Bears. You're watching Inside Louisiana Athletics.
Hello and welcome to Inside Louisiana Athletics. After a couple of turbulent weeks for the Ragin Cajun football program, they were back in action this week at UL Monroe, blasting the Warhawks 70-20. And we got a lot to get to in this segment, so let's get to the head coach, Billy Napier. Coach, a crazy couple of weeks for you and the program. It included the Central Arkansas game being canceled. You had COVID. Several players had COVID. But when it was time to play the game, it looked as though it was business as usual. You had to be ecstatic about the performance.
Yeah, no, I think we had a good week. I think you got to credit the staff. I thought they did a terrific job. And we really got good ownership and leadership from some of our veteran players. So I thought they took command, and it was a heck of a week, certainly for me. A little bit unusual, but it's great to join the team on Saturday in Monroe, and we were ready to play. There's no question. I think we had respect for those guys. They've given us some challenges the last couple of years, so we were ready to go, and certainly one of our better performances of the year.
Let's go ahead and get to the highlights from this one. When the game started, each team had a 3-and-out, but Dante Fleming, who was filling in for Eric Garrow, sets up the offense in really good field position with a 33-yard punt return down to the Warhawk 38-yard line. 4 plays later, Trey Regis takes it in from 11 yards out, and you're quickly on top 7-0.
Yeah, we got several short fields, whether it was turnovers or nice returns. I thought we controlled the field position in the game. We did have a few miscues in the kicking game to correct, but overall, great way to start working together, complementary football.
Yeah, and there was more complementary football to come. The defense forces a turnover on the next possession. Lorenzo McCaskill with the fumble recovery. That sets up the offense at the 33-yard line. You take advantage of the short field. This time, Levi Lewis keeps it on the read, and he takes it in from 11 yards out, and it's 14-0.
Yeah, playing an 8-man structure, so we needed to use Levi. He did a nice job in the read game, made some plays with his feet throughout the day. So we're going to need to do more of that. It's certainly a strength of his and something that, when it counts, he can do that. He did a nice job Saturday.
Yeah, you mentioned the special teams miscue that helped cut the lead in half to 14-7, but the offense answers, and quickly Elijah coasts 44 yards to the house. It's 21-7, and really a good job across the offensive line to make that happen.
Yeah, we blocked them well. I thought that one in particular. We knew they'd have an 8th guy in the box. The stretch play was going to have to be effective for us. We did a nice job there, cut them in half. Really good job on the backside of the play. Did it for the most part the entire day.
ULM cuts the lead to 7 again to make it 21-14. As we go to quarter number 2, the offense really getting in a rhythm now. Explosive plays left and right. Levi with the play action, and he rolls out, finds Neil Johnson for the 1-yard touchdown, and it was 28-14.
Yeah, but really good balance, I felt like, throughout the day, mixing it up. Levi was sharp. We did a nice job on some third downs. I thought really good third down playing, and Levi was on point there. So we're starting to see some of these young receivers grow up as well.
Just about everything going the Ragin Cajuns' way from here on out. The defense forces yet another 3-and-out, and the offense getting yards in chunks. Levi keeps it again for a second rushing touchdown to make it 35-14. Then on the next possession, Percy Butler tips the Jeremy Hunt pass. Braylon Trahan with the pick, and he takes it 53 yards for 6. Braylon, a guy who wasn't even able to practice all week, making a big contribution in the win.
Yeah. No, unique story there, in terms of contact trace. Guy's not able to do much throughout the week, becomes available for the game. Played him in some packages. I think he played a handful of plays in the game. the ball has a way of finding that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got great instincts. Great play by Percy. Certainly Braylon able to take advantage of that.
Defense continuing to dominate. They get another 3 and out. Offense takes the last drive of the half, 86 yards in 2.5 minutes. Kyron Lacey with a phenomenal catch. And like you said earlier, this freshman does not look like a freshman anymore. And really, when you execute the play to that high level, it's almost impossible to stop.
Yeah, great. We had a couple back shoulder throws in the game. You know, I thought Kyron's done a nice job. You know, Tim's done a really good job with him. We're going to need him to play big the rest of the way. You know, we were without Peter LeBlanc in the game Saturday, so Kyron got more opportunities. He had a really nice catch earlier in that drive where he beat man-to-man, really stuck his foot in the ground. Good throw. Good 2 minute before the half possession there.
As I said, it was all Ragin' Cajuns from that point on. You go on to win the game by a score of 70-20. Cajuns are now 8-1, ranked 20th in the AP poll, 21st in the coaches poll, and a huge matchup this weekend with App State, a team we've never beaten. Going to Boone once again. Sounds like it's going to be pretty cold, but just talk about the matchup. It's always a fight with these guys.
Oh, man, they've got a heck of a football team. You know, great identity in all three phases, really good team speed. Seems like some of these players we've been playing against forever, you know. So 4 times in the last 2 years. Got a lot of respect for, you know, their tradition, their winning history. You know, it's going to be a dogfight for sure.
Yeah. Keep the thermals packed for this week. Sounds like we have a good chance of getting some snow possibly. That game is Friday night at, well, it's been changed to 7:30 Central Time. It'll be on ESPN, and we'll have highlights and reaction next week on Inside Louisiana Athletics.
Not done yet. Let's go. Next on Inside Louisiana Athletics, Darren Walker sits down with head coach Bob Marlin to discuss their game versus nationally ranked Baylor and a look ahead to a trip to New Orleans.
I can have a crunchy demeanor sometimes.
Yeah, you're a little crunchy, you're a little abrasive. Maybe that crunchy person just needs to eat something, and then they'll be a little less crunchy.
Yeah.
Sonic Fritos Chili Cheese Junior Wrap.
Someone woke up on the wrong side of the crunch this morning.
We're counting down the days until 2021 with our best deals of the year. Get a 2020 Chevy Equinox for $19,988. Or get a 2020 Chevy Trax for $17,988. The countdown to 2021 is on, so come on down to Courtesy Chevrolet in Broussard.
To perform, you need speed, skill, strength. With every muscle, every move, you push your body to reach its full potential. But sometimes you just can't push through the pain. That's when you know it's time to address it. So when injury puts you on the sidelines, trust us to get you back in the game. Lourdes Sports Care, the team behind your team.
At Courtesy Buick GMC, we're still counting down to 2021. Get $10,000 off a 2020 Buick Enclave, or get 0% financing for 84 months, or get $12,000 off a 2020 Buick Envision, or get 0% financing for 84 months. Courtesy Buick GMC in Lafayette.
Chili's first because
Chili's
it's
the
like
star.
the star of it. And then cheese is just there to be like,
I'm gonna lift you up.
it would be nothing without the Fritos and the cheese.
And cheese is like the hype man.
Sonic Fritos Chili Cheese Junior Wrap.
I got you.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Inside Louisiana Athletics. The men's basketball team tipped off their 2020 season this past weekend, a season opener that was just a couple of days in the making. Here now to explain is the head coach, Bob Marlin. So you get the first 2 games of the season canceled because of coronavirus, but then opportunity comes knocking, and all of a sudden you're in Vegas playing the #1 team in the country in Baylor. Talk about how that all came about in just a couple of days' time.
The scheduling's been very fluid, Darren, as you know, and we were disappointed. We lost our first 2 home games, and we were here practicing and on the phone with Baylor and also some promoters that we've dealt with in the past with the tournament situation. Baylor wanted us to come to Waco to start with, and I tried to get them to come here. I tried to get them to come for 2-for-1 here, and couldn't do it. We talked even about meeting in Houston at one point. But the next thing you know, we're on a plane to Vegas, and the game was actually decided late Wednesday night around midnight. We practiced Thanksgiving Day and had our Thanksgiving dinner afterwards here at the Cox building as a team, and then left the next morning early, headed to Vegas. Tough travel day. We had to split up and go in 2 groups. But we got out there and were able to play, and that's the most important thing.
Right. A very competitive game early on. Baylor had jumped out to a 7-point lead, but your guys showed some fight to get that lead cut to 1 with about 10 minutes to go in the first.
Had 2 big spurts there, and they had we went up 4-0 to start the game, had a chance to go up 6-0. Baylor comes back with 10 consecutive points, and then the game was a 3 one-point game, early 20s, I think, and next thing you know, they have a 15-0 run again. Disappointing. We called timeout in the middle of that, and then actually turned the ball over and gave up a 3-point shot. So they stuck it to us pretty good there at the end of the first half, and then the second half they were solid as well.
Yeah, there was a time there in the late stages of the first half where turnovers and just cold shooting just seemed to be the difference, where they were able to take off and get a big lead for halftime.
And that was one of the goals, was to take care of the basketball, be strong. Coach Crow had a great game plan in place, and we just couldn't execute it. Their guards are really good. They've got 2 guys that went to the NBA draft and then pulled their names out. But all 3 of their guards are transfers. They're older, and they're the reason that they have a really good basketball team. Yeah,
19 turnovers for the Cajuns, and it certainly didn't help that they shot 56% from 3-point range. But let's talk about some of the bright spots. Theo Akuba, 9 for 9 from the field, 8 rebounds. He had a good night. Brayan Ayu added 16 points in his debut, and you did shoot 53% for the game. So while the final score may not reflect it, you did have a lot of positives to build on.
We did some good things. A couple of guys we were disappointed, didn't feel like that we got their best game, but certainly from Theo and Brayan, that's what we expected. And we recruited those young men, and they did a super job. They were consistent, played well. Theo didn't miss a shot. And we were excited to break out number 10 and certainly knew that there would be a chance that there were some points in that jersey. And sure enough, the first 3-point basket, number 10's ever worn for us. So Bolamar was excited. He was hoping that his number would carry on some offense, and that evidently did with Theo.
Right. Some other good news. It's a little bit dated, but we haven't had a chance to talk about this. Jacoby Gordon is now eligible to play. He's the Cal transfer. That gives you another weapon down the road as the season progresses.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we got the good news just last week, Darren, and then practiced great Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday. Had something, felt funny on his leg, and we sent him to the doctor, and we wound up leaving him at home, and that was disappointing, and certainly to not have him. And then Mike Thomas on Tuesday had some foot issues, and he was not able to play as well. So we were really shorthanded on this trip once again.
Coming up tonight at 7 p.m., the Cajuns in New Orleans to face UNO. The Privateers are 0-2 on the season, but another chance to get out there and really correct some of the things maybe that you didn't do well on Saturday.
Yeah, we watched film on our team and UNO. We look forward to playing those guys. They played at BYU, at Texas A&M. They'll give us a great game. They always do. They're well coached. They play hard, and it's an opportunity for us to clean up and get back on the court. And that was the best thing about the Baylor opportunity, was that we were able to play and learn a lot about our basketball team, and know that there were some positives to take, as you mentioned,
right,
and things that we can improve on moving forward and get ready for conference play.
All right, Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck against UNO. That tip later on tonight, and then the home opener next Tuesday at 6 o'clock at the Cajun Dome, and we'll have highlights and reaction of all of that on Inside Louisiana Athletics.
Coming up next on Inside Louisiana Athletics, Gary Broadhead is here to talk about the upcoming season opener against North Texas.
We're counting down the days until 2021 with our best deals of the year. Get a 2020 Chevy Equinox for only $19,988, or get $11,000 off a 2020 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab. So come on down to Courtesy Chevrolet in Broussard.
You are UL Lafayette's #1 priority. That's why we're following guidelines set by national and local health experts to protect you during the COVID-19 pandemic. The university is reorganizing rooms and spaces to reinforce social distancing, sanitizing campus buildings, and mandating that everyone wears protective equipment. But don't just take our word for it. Take a look for yourself at some of the many safety measures we're implementing, and you'll see that our priority is you.
What is it? Bangin'.
This is what I call a bangin' burger.
The chilies with the onions and the queso. Boom.
Queso knows where it's supposed to be, where it belongs.
Sonic Queso Burger.
The health and safety of our students is our main concern. That is why the Office of University Housing and Residential Life has developed new protocols and procedures to strengthen our efforts to protect you during this pandemic. Housing staff is trained and ready to carry out safety protocols and guidelines set by local and national health authorities. All common areas will be cleaned and sanitized often, and no more than 2 residents will share a bedroom and bathroom. These are just a few of the safety measures we are implementing to ensure that our priority is you.
Welcome back to Inside Louisiana Athletics. The Ragin Cajuns women's basketball team has yet to tip off its 2020 season. Here now to talk about coronavirus and a few other things as we get ready for the tip-off of the 2020 season is the head coach, Gary Broadhead. You had the first 2 games of the season canceled with fingers crossed. It looks like everything's pointing in the right direction for you to tip off Friday night against North Texas. You usually preparing for opponents. So how have you spent the last 2 weeks, I guess, working on yourselves?
Well, I mean, it makes it a little bit more difficult, you know, to be able to have the whole team in quarantine from contact tracing. But, you know, we were able to, you know, kind of ask them to keep on stretching, kind of keeping themselves kind of moving within their apartments. And that was probably the best thing we could do. But, you know, when we came back to practice on Thanksgiving Day, it was like a whole different team. You know, you could tell they were a little bit winded, but I was still surprised that they were able to come back and practice like they did. And then on Friday and Saturday, we really had some good practices. So we feel that, you know, we might be a little bit behind, but I think we'll be able to catch up and hopefully kind of find out where we at on Friday night.
Right, because, I mean, losing two of those early games, that's critical time for you to have maybe players that you won't get on the floor later on during conference time. You get them in those early games.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the biggest thing for us. We have some young players that haven't played, and we have a lot of experienced players. So it was going to give us a great opportunity to give them some, you know, we call it some time under the lights. And
right.
I think it's a little bit more difficult. We play North Texas, and this will be their 3rd game. And I always feel a team always improves tremendously from the first to the second game. So we didn't have that first one yet. But, you know, we're excited. Our kids want to play. So that's the excitement about it, and I think we'll show up on Friday and see where we're at, and then we'll be able to adjust from there.
Yeah, North Texas 1-1 on the young season. They beat Tarleton, but then got beat by Texas. What are you expecting from the Eagles?
Well, I tell you what, offensively, they do dribble drive, and they're very, very athletic, like to get down the lane lines, and they're more guard-oriented. You know, I mean, they'll pressure you in the full court, and their man-to-man defense is really aggressive. So, I mean, I think it's a good matchup for us because it kind of prepares us for some of the teams like Troy and Little Rock and all that really defend.
The 50th season of women's basketball here at UL, lots of recognitions and celebrations will take place throughout the season. Talk about how important it is for you to get the word out there and let people know about the 5 decades of players and coaches that helped build this program.
Well, you know, talking to people, I think it's important because, I mean, there's a lot of players that have come through our program and are still in our community. You know, and I think that's the biggest thing for me is like we want to celebrate the team that we have now, but we also want to celebrate the past players that have contributed not only to our university and not only to our city, but to the whole state and, you know, really everywhere. I mean, we have kids all over, and I call them kids, but we have players that have played in our program all over contributing. And I think this is what this university is about. It's not just about wins or losses. It's about how can we contribute when we leave from here, get a great education, and then now we get in the community and make a difference, you know, and have change.
Gotcha. Thanks for the time, Coach. As always, the season opener Friday night at the Cajun Dome, 6 p.m. tip-off, and we'll have highlights and reaction next week on Inside Louisiana Athletics.
How often would you say you eat queso?
At least 5 times a week on a good week.
5 times a week.
Maybe 4 to
Sounds
5 times
obsessive.
a week. I wouldn't go that far.
You wouldn't say it's obsessive.
It's a hobby.
Starts as a hobby.
Sonic Queso Burger.
If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, then your feet will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, manger. If you're happy and you know it, manger. If you're happy and you know it, loving God will help you show it. If you're happy and you know it, manger.
Marine Survival Training Center was developed back in mid-'80s, and it was a dream of a lady, Margaret McMillan, to have a school, something like this. She had visited a school in Aberdeen, Scotland, Robert Gordon Institute of Technology, RGIT, and so she wanted something run parallel with that. So she got with the petroleum industry here, and then she got together with Dr. Audemars for the university concept of it. So we had the university involved with it, had the oil industry involved with it, to develop a school that their personnel could come and have quality, safe training. One of the big things that we pushed was a place to do lifeboat training. It was sea survival, helicopter egress, but lifeboat training, where they could go and launch. We're only 15 feet off the water versus 90 feet off the water. We have no currents, we have no waves. So we can teach them the basics straight up. It's very hard to teach when your student is seasick, and it's even harder to teach when the instructor is seasick if you're doing this offshore. So if we have a nice controlled environment, then we can make our point and hopefully walk away from here feeling a little more confident in the use of these lifeboats, the use of the marine rafts. So everything out here is controlled with the simulator today. There was 2 students, 1 staff member inside. You had 2 divers on the outside.
I'm what our company calls a training captain. A part of my duties are to train new hires. Now they're already accomplished pilots, but they may never have had this type of training before. So besides the flying side of it, I talk to them about what they're going to experience when they come here. As far as flying helicopters go, you can do a myriad of different jobs, but I always wanted to do something where I felt like I was contributing and being helpful to society. A program like this is invaluable, particularly, we're in close proximity to people who are working offshore in the oil industry, but there's other industries like myself that utilize it. Now, it's here primarily because the oil industry saw a need and the university saw a need to have a program like this, but the rest of us that weren't in the oil industry get to make use of the excellent training provided.
The whole thing is, if you work or play on the water like we all do in South Louisiana, you're required by the Coast Guard in your own personal boat to carry a life jacket. But have you ever been in the water with that jacket to see what it can do for you? That's one of the things that we do here is we'll actually put them in a life jacket. We'll go through the skills, how to stay together, try to build confidence, show the importance of wearing a tight jacket. A loose jacket's going to ride up and your head will be closer to the water. So whether it's oil field, recreational, military, the police, the fire, it's water oriented, and that's what we're trying to do, is to save people's lives. When you got these kind of toys to play with, it's not a job, man.
How often would you say you eat queso?
At least 5 times a week on a good week.
5 times a week.
Maybe 4 to
Sounds
5 times
obsessive.
a week. I wouldn't go that far.
You wouldn't say it's obsessive.
It's a hobby.
Starts as a hobby.
Sonic Queso Burger.
If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, then your feet will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, manger. If you're happy and you know it, manger. If you're happy and you know it, loving God will help you show it. If you're happy and you know it, manger.
I can
have a crunchy demeanor sometimes.
Yeah, you're a little crunchy, you're a little abrasive. Maybe that crunchy person just needs to eat something. And then they'll be a little less crunchy.
Yeah. Sonic Fritos Chili Cheese Junior Wrap.
Someone woke up on the wrong side of the crunch this morning.
At past commencements, I've welcomed graduates to the finish line of their academic journeys. Tonight, in these surroundings, let me welcome you instead to the end zone. We will be awarding 320 degrees this evening, and it establishes a new university record of 3,610 academic degrees awarded this academic year. So graduates, you are part of an historic occasion. No matter what degree you're receiving tonight, you will play a role in the shape of things to come. Many of you may feel uncertain right now, and that's okay. But looking at you, I am filled with hope. The sun may be setting now, but a new dawn remains ahead, and you will lead us toward it. Congratulations, graduates. Thank you for being here, and go Cajuns.
At Courtesy Buick GMC, we're still counting down to 2021. Get $13,000 off a GMC Sierra 1500 or get a 2021 GMC Terrain for $22,988. We're also offering 0% financing for 84 months on select Buick. Courtesy Buick GMC in Lafayette.
Anybody at school that makes you melt like this queso burger? I think it starts with the, right?
Stop! You're so mean! Sonic Queso Burger.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Inside Louisiana Athletics. I'm Marcel Johnson. See you next week.